Scott Barnard, Group Managing Editor for TMCnet, coming to you from IT Expo East here in Miami. And joining me is Evin Hunt, Vice President of Operations for Starview. How you doing?
Doing great.
Good. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks for having us here. It's great.
So I understand you guys have an announcement you came out with.
Yeah, we did a press release today. Another one, actually, on our Prism platform, which is a software as a service that we offer. I actually like to call it an infrastructure as a service, because what we do with that product is we're able to white label and tenantize our entire infrastructure rather than just the soft switch itself. There's a lot of providers out there, well, not a lot, but there's providers out there that will tenantize their broad soft switch or whatever kind of soft switch they have, and you're pretty limited on the carrier selection that you have for termination and origination. So you basically have to take what they give you. What Prism does is it allows us to use our robust, very complex routing infrastructure on the back end to really drive the term costs down and work out special deals with each one of our customers for termination as well as origination. Well, we have, we like to say, 3 business units. Wholesale, which our wholesale unit, we do termination, both international niche routes as well as full domestic footprints. As well as retail packages for international and domestic term. We have our white label business unit, which is what the Prism application really falls into, and where it provides the most value. And then we have a channel, a distribution business unit that it's direct to the end customer, working through channel partners. Where we
do you sell direct also?
We do.
Right.
We do.
Okay. All right. Great. Good. And your customer base has been growing, right?
Tremendously.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly.
Right.
It's good problems to have, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of advantages to going with a single solution for managing your telecom operations end to end.
Absolutely.
And maybe you could speak to some of those benefits.
Absolutely. What we find is a lot of carriers come to us, whether they're cable MSOs, wireless ISPs, or any kind of service provider that doesn't offer voice services currently, or they offer voice services, but they're challenged with the complexity of running that into that platform.
Right.
What we do is we come in with our Prism product, and we can offer as much as they need to manage their infrastructure.
Right.
Or we can actually offer them a complete solution, like you said, end to end, and manage it on our infrastructure ourselves. So, that's where I get that term infrastructure as a service.
Right.
For instance, with this latest press release, a cable company in Houston, Texas, uses the Prism product to offer SIP trunking to their customer base, their entire cable customer base. They provide fiber to many large businesses in Houston, and we quickly deployed NetSapiens servers and co-located them with them, so they could benefit of being on their network. We could use them as well, and we put Prism over the top of that, and they could instantly provision SIP trunks. So a whole switch deployment, and Prism overlaid with all the origination and termination set up within a day for this customer to start selling SIP trunks. So it's really impressive when you step back and take a look at how that happens.
Right, yeah, and that's one of the beauties of your platform, is it allows for that super fast provisioning, something that would normally take maybe weeks, maybe even months. You can do in a very short time frame.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that you mentioned that cable operator, because this is a new greenfield opportunity for them with the SIP trunking.
It is.
I mean, they already have a lot of the infrastructure in place in order to be able to provide that service, but they need to be able to handle the routing effectively so that it works out for their business.
Absolutely. And we get a lot of interest from providers out there that maybe have bought another commercial branded soft switch. Some maybe even use an open source. But the complexities around tying those into the origination and termination providers and doing any kind of least cost routing to save them some money on that is really a challenge for them. So we can come in and take control of that. We have what we call providers built into Prism, which is the API interface. So, Prism, we standardize the provisioning process. And then we've got all the translators, which are the APIs that plug into all the various types of equipment, providers, anything out there. So we can really start tying in.
That becomes really important when you got providers with mixed environments, obviously.
Absolutely.
Most of them do. So.
And where Prism is going is, there's all this these applications now that are being offered as software as a service. So, your hosted exchange, hosted any kind of hosted email,
Right.
Your hosted data storage, archival, anything that enterprise businesses may need that our channel partners or white label partners may want to opt into to selling to their base. So we're building translators to all those types of services as well.
Right. Okay. All right. Great. Just tell me about some of the recent developments in the company in terms of growth, customer wins, the evolution of the platform.
We're seeing a lot more on the wholesale side, especially. We're seeing a lot more larger providers that have been in tier twos and that have been in, and even tier ones that have been in the business for a while, but they have the legacy networks and they may be out of port capacity, so they're starting to do more with SIP.
Right.
And because of our robust LCR and routing platform, we're able to offer extremely competitive rates into some of the harder to reach areas. So we're gaining a lot more traction with that as well with the larger customers. So
right.
The wins, rather than being a huge quantity, the smaller wins are the bigger customers, and it's really playing out well for us.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Well, listen, thanks very much for joining us, Evin. I really appreciate it, and thanks again for coming to the show. You're going to be exhibiting on the floor, is that right?
Yes, we are exhibiting at booth 1111.
Booth 1111. Okay, great. That's a good, easy one to remember.
It's an easy one to remember.
Okay, great. Okay, well, thanks very much. We've been talking to Evin Hunt, Vice President of Operations for Starview, coming to you from IT Expo East here in Miami. Evin, thanks again.
Thanks, Pat.